Welcome to our morning devotions. We are bringing these to you knowing that some of you are not able to get our devotional booklets because they're delivered to the church. We also given it to you because we realize that many of you are taking walks and listening to things, and we invite you to start your day with a word from God. And so I invite you to do these things each and every day as we live our Christian walk and faith. I will start every day by being open to the blessings that God is going to give me. I will realize every day that I am the face of God to everyone I meet. And I will end every day by thanking God for the blessings received and place into God's hands my worries and fears.
Today we read from Christ in Our Home, October, November, December 2020 edition. It's Saturday, November 28th. Today's reading comes from Micah chapter 2, verses 1 through 13. Today we ask you, as November begins to draw to a close, to remind yourself every day the many things in life we have to be grateful for. Today, I am grateful for the many farmers who work very hard to toil to bring us our food supplies. Alas, for those who devise wickedness and evil deeds on their beds, when the morning dawns, they perform it, because it is in their power. They covet fields and seize them, houses and take them away. They oppress householder and house, people and their inheritance. Therefore, thus says the Lord, now I am devising against this family an evil from which you cannot remove your necks. And you shall not walk haughtily, for it will be an evil time. On that day they shall take up a taunt song against you and wail with bitter lamentation and say, we are utterly ruined. The Lord alters the inheritance of my people, how he removes it from me. Among our captors he parcels out our fields. Therefore you will have no one to cast the line by lot in the assembly of the Lord. Do not preach, thus they preach. One should not preach of such things. Disgrace will not overtake us. Should this be said, O house of Jacob? Is the Lord's patience exhausted? Are these his doings? Do not my words do good things to one who walks uprightly? But you rise up against my people as an enemy. You strip the robe from the peaceful, from those who pass by trustingly with no thought of war. The women of my people you drive out from their pleasant houses. From their young children you take away my glory forever. Arise and go, for this is no place to rest, because of the uncleanness that destroys with a grievous destruction. If someone were to go about uttering empty falsehoods, saying, I will preach to you of wine and strong drink, such a one would be the preacher for this people. I will surely gather all of you, O Jacob. I will gather the survivors of Israel. I will set them together like sheep in a fold, like a flock in its pasture. It will resound with people. The one who breaks out will go up before them. They will break through and pass the gate, going out by it. Their king will pass on before them, the Lord at their head.
Saturday, November 28th. God's creatures have varied means of protection. Shepherds often keep a special breed of dog with the sheep to ward off predators. When Jesus compared people to sheep and himself to a shepherd, he used an age-old metaphor of Israel as God's flock. Such imagery is common in the Psalms and Isaiah. Here Micah uses it too. A professor of mine once remarked that like sheep, we tend to nibble ourselves lost. In the freedom God allows, we take chances that often result in tragedy. Ancient Israel did so time and again, eventually nibbling their way into idol worship and dependencies on rulers who cared nothing about them until they were captured by Assyria and Babylon. But God has always been the good shepherd. And through Micah, God promised to gather like a flock the people who had strayed and followed among predatory leaders. Some 500 years ago, Jesus took up the shepherd's crook to ward off predatory powers of sin and death. We sheep are safe. Good shepherd, may I always know your voice and follow where you lead. Amen.